One of the most terrible things that ever happened to me was when Mummy had her stroke, her first stroke. It was in 1968, I was in my 30s. Life had been going pretty well till then. And suddenly and catastrophically, the stroke happened. I was at home and Mummy started to walk all round the house, babbling and staring, and clearly something was terribly wrong. And I think I realised then that nothing would ever be the same again, and it never was. From being this vibrant, alert, shrewd, funny lady, there came a speechless lump. And it was the most terrible, shocking transformation that you can imagine. And I knew that I would never be able to recover from it, and I never have. She had another stroke 2 years later. No, not 2 years, maybe 6 months. And that finished her completely. And for the next 7.5 years, we looked after her at home, my father and I, mostly Daddy because I was working. I would come back from London to Oxford every week, and she wouldn't let anybody else wash her but me. It was just devastating. It's quite hard to talk about it actually, because it brings it back to me. And such was our pain, my father and I, there was only the two of us. I have no brothers and sisters. But we could never speak of it again. After Mummy died, we never mentioned her again, because the hurt was so total. When you have someone who is unable to speak and indicate what they need, who is also mentally disabled, they take over the household because everything has to be subjugated to their needs. That's the way we saw it. So my father was never free for himself. It was a 24-hour commitment to caring for this very difficult patient, because all the energy that my mother had as a person was now directed into the stroke. The stroke changed her. She became shouting and demanding. And the terrible thing was, of course, that she couldn't tell you what she wanted. She could only say 2 phrases: "Puff I want," and "I can't afford a carriage," which you will know is a line from Daisy, Daisy. I don't know why that seized her brain, but she would just say, "Puff I want, puff I want, puff I want." And this was a woman whose language was beautiful, mellifluous. She is the person from whom I got my acting talent, if I have any, it's from her. So it meant that 24 hours a day, Mummy was paramount, but not the Mummy that we knew, another deformed, crazed creature. All hours' sleep was gone. Clothes had to be washed because she was often incontinent. It was a hell, and it took over the entire house. Since my mother's stroke, to be truthful, I think I have avoided other stroke patients because it was too painful. And that's why I'm so glad to have the chance to try to do something with the Stroke Foundation in Australia. I have to do something to help others who might be in the same position that I found myself in. I want to do something now, and I feel somewhat ashamed that I've stood away from people with strokes. If I see them in the street, if I see someone in a wheelchair or walking with that particular gait that people have when they have a stroke, I do try to smile at them or go up to them and say, "Good on you, keep going, keep walking." I try to be encouraging as a stranger, But the truth is that what happened to my mother was so devastating to me that I have avoided the subject. And now I want to do something.